Hey guys, this is Mike the Wrestling Guysman. I'm actually going to do something a little different here. This is my other video. Like I said, I just got through the SummerSlam prediction. I am going to do the review when the pay-per-view does come out, which is this Sunday. I'm going to do it, but also I'm going to talk about something different. I'm actually going to tell you about the ten failures in the WWE that were really bad. So like I said, okay. So my number one thing that the first failure that WWE did, the 10 greatest failures actually was number one, WWE's version of ECW. Okay, like I said, yeah, you guys remember the thing. You guys remember when WWE tried to make ECW like an actual show and an actual its own brand, like they used to do like way back when like the rules of aggression era was kind of ending. So the reason why I say that one is the number one on the list is because like the idea was that ECW was trying to they were trying to come back in their own way. So Vince and Shane McMahon, Vince and Shane McMahon at the time wanted to make ECW. So instead of making it its own show or how Paul Heyman tried to do with One Night Stand, they turned it into a brand, which they brought all the extreme guys you could think of, like the legends like Tommy Dreamer, the Sandman, all these dudes that were a part of ECW when they were their own company. So, and of course, they had they of course in that time they had two commentators, which was Taz, Taz from SmackDown when he got injured, so he was stuck to being a commentator. So now it was Taz and Joey Styles. So the show was the show would be on after I think the show would be on Fridays that ECW came on, because it would be on like right after Smack, like the week two, like after the last day of the week after SmackDown and Raw would be on Mondays and Tuesdays. So ECW's thing was like, oh, we want to be extreme. We'll take anything to the extreme. So they made a bunch of matches like a bunch of extreme matches like Monsters Ball. So they basically brought a lot of people. So sometimes they would bring Kane. They brought Kane. Like they took a lot of people from like Raw and SmackDown. So their roster was mixed. The reason why I say it was a failure was because the championship's design was kind of stupid. It was black. Well, before it was just this big gold belt, big ugly gold belt with the world's ECW champion, and it was barbed wire scarred looking thing, and it was like the world, like the earth on top of it. Then they changed it and made it black, and it just put the big letters ECW. And the funny thing was with ECW, it was stupid because it was such a failure because most of the stuff that brought ECW to the dance in the '90s wasn't there anymore. Like they had a lot of they did have a lot of extreme rules on it, but they couldn't go crazy like with dynamite or nothing crazy because it was TV, it was the PG era or something before it became the PG era. So that's why I think that's number one on the list because that was a horrible idea to try to recreate it. Number two, number two, the second failure. Oh, God giving. I actually know this one because this is the worst. This is the worst idea ever. The Alliance. Why I think that was the worst segment in history because the Alliance. Okay, for those who don't know about the Alliance was this big faction thing that Paul Heyman brought in these dudes from some dudes from ECW, some dudes from WCW. And the thing was, they wanted to take over the WWE, and they failed because it was Kurt Angle, it was Christian, it was Taz, it was a bunch of dudes that was just a mosh pit, just a mosh like a hodge, like a mosh pit of dudes that were ex WWE superstars, ex ECW guys, ex WCW dudes too, and it was really horrible because it was like the segment was stupid because every night Stone Cold Steve Austin kind of went on a heel thing and he tried to be ECW champion because that's what ECW kind of brought him in to do when he was like still trying to get his name out there. Like I said, but that was the worst. The reason why I think that was the worst segment because trying to put all these dudes in there, it just didn't work. And number three, and I'm telling you, was the worst idea ever. I'm gonna be even honest with you. It was the worst idea ever for WWE at the time was bringing in Heidenreich. Okay, I'm gonna explain this. The reason why I think that was the worst decision, Heidenreich was just this dude, this crazy behind psycho dude who would always smile but had the worst gimmick. He was trying to be like a, I would say like kind of like a Ivan, like the guy from Rocky 4. Cause this dude had the worst gimmick, and I'm telling you another bad idea. I don't even want to talk about this one. Number 4. The live sex show. Why do I think that's the number 4 on the list? Because, okay, for those who don't know about the live sex show that was held on Raw and Ruthless Aggression Show, live sex show was, at the time, was made for WWE Champion, the Radar Superstar Edge, and Lita. So, they were going to celebrate, instead of celebrating in a hotel room, they were going to celebrate in live TV. They tried to do a live sex celebration in the ring, but it got upstaged by John Cena. John Cena looks under the bed and finds Lita naked. And he lifts her and tries to do an F5, but he doesn't do it. But Ric Flair comes out and tries to have sex with Lita. The reason why I'm going to say that's number 4, it's the worst. Like, guys, if you ever look at that segment, it's the worst segment on the planet. I'm telling you, don't even smile about it. Because that junk was worse. Number 5. I'll even tell you this one. Number 5. Making Spike Dudley the Cruiserweight Champion. Okay, if I'm gonna say this before I explain this. For those who don't know who Spike Dudley is, he's basically the brother of Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley boys. So the reason why I think this was the worst idea was because the only reason that Spike Dudley became Cruiserweight Champion was because the fact is that he won against Rey Mysterio, so he basically thought he was the king of the Cruiserweights because he had the Cruiserweight belt. So basically they had to give him a push. It wasn't that big of a push. So the reason why I think it was the worst idea because Spike had no storyline, he had no rivalries. He was just there because he only got exposure and crowd pop because Dudleys were there. And he basically had a horrible gimmick with TNA because he was always drunk for some reason. I don't know why. Number 6. I don't even want to talk about this one. The New Brood. Oh God, I don't want to talk about this one. Actually, I'm not even gonna say that one. Number 6. The King's Court. Why I think this is the worst idea? For those who don't know about the King's Court, let me take you back. Booker T had this gimmick. He called himself King Booker because he won the King of the Ring tournament. So he adopted an English accent, basically an English accent to make himself look weak. So along with him and Sharmell, his wife, who used to be one of the Nitro Girls, if you guys don't know that, he wanted to bring these guys he brought in a group of guys I would say Orlando Jordan, Finley, and William Regal. So they were basically a faction that didn't go so well because there was infighting and everything else. That's number 6. Number 7. Paul London. Why I think he was the worst idea? Because see, Paul London had this luckiest gimmick, the unluckiest streak in the world. Why I think he was a bad idea? Because they couldn't do nothing with him. Because if those who don't know Paul Wonder was this dude who was a cruiserweight. He was like the best high flyer in the ruthless aggression. But something bad happened. I'll tell you why. Why he had a bad push. Because they couldn't really do anything, and SmackDown couldn't really do anything with him. So basically, what they did was they basically made him smile creepily to Vince McMahon, and then he got fired because he was smiling at him too much. So that's what happened to Paul Wonder. Number 8. Number 8. Rey Mysterio, the Rey Mysterio the custody battle ladder match. Why I think that was the worst idea? Well, because for those who don't, and I'm gonna explain this too, for those who don't know about the custody battle match, back in the Rules Aggression era, Ray and Eddie, Eddie Guerrero, God bless his soul, they were best friends. They were best friends. They were family. They knew each other personally and basically on the road. So, what better way to test that 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 brotherhood was when Eddie went heel Ray Ray was becoming more of a bigger star, and Eddie thought that Ray forgot about him, but it was basically about Rey Mysterio's family, his son being Dominic. So we got for the first week, Eddie was telling everybody that Dominic is Eddie's son, which he really is. He's not really Ray's son. He actually biologically is Ray's father. But Ray Ray is Ray's Dominic's foster dad. So basically, Eddie tried to get custody to bring a social worker into the WWE to get custody of Dominic, but Ray wouldn't have it. So they basically made so he said, "I want to have I'll have a match with you to win the custody of my son." And the reason why I think this was the worst idea ever, because it was really kind of fucked up. I'll be honest with you guys, it was so messed up because the fact that it wasn't the fact that they were battling over a custody over a child, but it just showed us that how diabolical and how kind of a douchebag Eddie Guerrero was, and it was the worst idea. Number 9. I don't even want to talk about this one either. What's the one I'm looking for? Number 9. What's it called? Oh god, yeah. Number 9. The Diva Search. Why I think that was the worst idea? Because the Diva Search was the dumbest thing ever. I'm gonna explain this before I go into it. The reason, for those who don't know what the Diva Search is, it was this segment that WWE created in the Ruthless Aggression era. Search for the next women or the next diva in the WWE. So they did. So they basically figured out, the reason why it was the worst idea, because it brought some people that eventually became women's champions, but were still divas. Right? Because it kind of made the women feel like they were eye candy more than like sexual objects more than women wrestlers. So the idea was, they brought this. So the idea was to bring if you entered the contest through the WWE magazine, which was this big magazine about WWE at the time. And here's the thing: the reason I think it was the worst idea was because the fact is, it really didn't boost. It kind of made WWE so freaking debauchery, because it was like they would bring in like all these women, and the first person I actually liked they brought in was the Bella Twins, and they brought the Bella Twins, and also Maurice and Ashley. Ashley before she passed away. Best decision ever, because she was really cool. I think Ashley might be Velvet Sky. I don't know, but I have to check back about that. But like I said, it was a good idea, but it was really bad. Number 10, I don't even want to talk about this one. Number 10, Scott Steiner comes to Raw. Before I even explain this segment, or before I explain this idea, for those who don't know who Scott Steiner is, okay, Scott Steiner, is those who don't know, was this big wrestler back in the 90s in WCW. He basically was this dude, the most greatest wrestler until he changed. So he basically he's a psychotic wrestling dude who basically thinks he's better than everybody and like likes to look at women and always talks about women and people and banging people's wives. So the segment was that Eric Bischoff wanted to bring some WCW guys into Raw to kind of give them to kind of give Raw the really kind of give it the edge against SmackDown in the ratings war with the Ruthless Aggression era between the brands. So what better guy was Scott Steiner? So in the segment, Scott Steiner makes his debut against Triple H. He beats up Triple H and he takes off his clothes and he basically takes the World Heavyweight title because he wants to fight for the World Heavyweight title. I can't. And the World Heavyweight title. That's what happened. It's open.
Hey, buddy, you want to bust the market?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nisa. I was trying to tell Mom I was recording, but it's cool. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
What do you want?
I'm almost done. I just want chicken, really.
Yeah, we're like, what kind of chicken? Half chicken, dark chicken, what you want?
Dark?
Okay, just half dark or?
Well, what are you guys doing?
Everybody's getting their own thing.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I'll go talk to Mom once I'm done with this. Because I gotta finish this video real quick.
We're putting in our order now, though.
Alright,
I'll have her pick for you. How about that?
yeah, thank you. Yeah, hold on. Like I said. Like I said. So that's what happened. That's why I think it was the worst idea. Because Scott Steiner was the worst signed guy they could get at that time. Anyway. Bye.